What's up, world? Second half, Calvin. I'm back, live from the crib with it. Out the gate, let me say, it feels good when people come up to me and they tell me, Cal, we see you on TV. We really fucking with your YouTube channel. Keep doing what you're doing. Also, it feels good when the new generation tap in with me and they tell me, Cal, me and my killers, we can sit around all day and watch your videos. You showing us a part of Miami we didn't know, and you really putting the crib on your back. We really fucking with your movement. Now let's go to church. It's a lot of my so-called sandbox niggas and so-called day ones who won't publicly give it up to a nigga. But it's funny because I see them. I see them way in the cut, locked into the channel. So I want to take the time right now to publicly thank y'all. I see y'all watching. One thing I will say about me and my nigga, even from back in the gap, we always saluted and supported everybody no matter what they had going on. One thing me and my nigga didn't do was wait till a nigga die or wait till a nigga to go to the feds to give them their flowers. Also, what me and my nigga didn't do was wait for a nigga to die or wait for a nigga to go to the feds to double back and try to fuck they hoe. Me and my dog definitely always been built different. Let me say in no way, shape, form, or fashion do my videos promote anything negative. My visuals are for entertainment purposes only. I want to take the time to thank all my day one subscribers. I appreciate y'all. And I want to double salute all my new subscribers. Thank you. We go take this road beat back to Rochester, New York. Today's visual is called Killa Black and Ted Bundy. Now, I mention Killa Black because I can. That's my blood relative. And when I do mention his name, I don't mention that name loosely. It's a lot of shit me and Black done, and we know that we'll take to the grave. Shit my day one never knew, and I never would talk to him about certain shit. So this video is dedicated to my conciliate Killa Black. I love you, family. We go spin a block and go back to 1989. Because everybody knows 1989 was the year that me and my dog touched down in Rochester, New York. And I will say it was a culture shock when we got to the town. The landscape was just different from what we was used to. Beautiful city, a lot of big historical buildings, beautiful waterfalls. And I remember one of the first things we seen when we got to the town was a church that sat on Clinton Avenue. And I think across from the church was a McDonald's or something like that. It's been so long, but I'm thinking it sat on Clinton Avenue by McDonald's. But anyway, at this particular church, up high was a big statue of an angel with big wings. And from the first time me and my dog seen that, throughout all the years, we would always ride up to this church and just park and just look at this big, gigantic statue of an angel that sat on this church. It was really a sight to see. I don't know if it's still around to this day, but, it was there back in the days. Also, one of the first things we noticed when we got to the town was all the young niggas in the town was gangbanging. Now, that shit just totally fucked our head up because we weren't used to that. Contrary to what social media is showing y'all today, Miami do not come from a gangbang culture. I don't say this proudly, but the crib was built on drugs. So all the shit y'all saying on social media today, everybody banging in Miami, niggas wearing earrings and all that fuck shit, that ain't the old Miami. Miami was never on that. Facts. But when me and my dog got to the town and we seen everybody was gangbanging, we from the gate told each other, oh, we finna get all the money. These niggas gangbanging. They don't want no money. These niggas was gangbanging on both sides of town, on the west side and on the east side. These niggas was on Brown Street gangbanging, on Genesee, on Jefferson, on Troop Street, on Hudson Avenue, on Clinton, on Bay Street, on Avenue C, Avenue D. On St. Paul. These niggas were gangbanging on both sides of town. So me and my dog were like, okay, damn, let's go see it coming. Because we was young when we got to the town. When I was 18, my dog was 17. So to them, we looked like jets. But the type of time we was on, that shit went right over their head. Now, I will say, Rochester, New York, have always been mob-tied. Now, throughout a lot of my videos, I mentioned that fuck-ass Italian who was a juryman. He had a jury store who played a big role in the downfall of the Miami boys. Now, in the first quarter, the fuck-ass Italian, he was all right. His face was good with us. I will say he opened up a lot of doors for us. On one of my other videos, when I talk about the Miami boys versus them Polk County niggas, the place where that shit popped off at, we was able to get that venue on the strength of the Italian. His face was good like that. Also, later on down the line, if y'all can remember the infamous club Titanic, which was our club, we was able to acquire that club on the strength of the Italian. The Italian plugged us in with all type of cricket lawyers and all type of shit. On any given day, we used to be in the jewelry store, in the back of the jewelry store with big crap game going on. It'd just be me and my dog. We'd be the only niggas in there around a whole bunch of Italians. That's how plugged in we was with the jewelry man. Now, Club Titanic, it was a big open space which was connected to an ice cream parlor. And I'm going somewhere with this. Now, it was alleged that in the late 70s or the 80s, the mob allegedly robbed a Brinks truck or a Wells Fargo truck or something like that. And they kind of laundered all that money through this particular club, which was a mob hangout back in the Gap. But for so many years, the place was just empty and was just sitting up. The ice cream parlor still was going because they used to hang out there, but the club parlor was just sitting up. So on the strength of the Italian, we was able to cop the club from them. And I'm going to do another whole video about the club Titanic. People in Rochester know what it was. So the town was definitely mob tied. And I'm also say that a lot of people really came through the town. A lot of famous people. Case in point, the Basement Crew, which consisted of Timberland, Missy Elliott, Genuine, Jodeci, I would say Stevie J, and they used to be camped out at Dejalon Studios. One time for Dejalon Studios up in Rochester, New York. Me and my nigga definitely was plugged in with Dejalon Studios. I want to say one time for E-Base. That's my nigga. One of the engineers who used to be up in Dejalon Studios. I remember E-Base used to always tell me and my nigga, I'm leaving Rochester and I'm going to New York City to work with Jay-Z. Now, this was before Jay-Z was even heard of. But true to his word, E-Base left the rock and he went and he was working with Jay, started working with Jay-Z. He even got a few placements on the Blueprint album. Look it up. Do your research. I want to say one time for Tweet. Do your research. Go ahead and look up Tweet. Born and raised in Rochester. Definitely a songbird. I fucks with Tweet. So it's safe to say Rochester definitely is a town that a lot of people slid through. Now, nigga ain't dry snitching like I always say. This is public records. He even said it himself. I want to say one time for love and hip hop and Harlem's own Mendices. It's public record that, he came through the town and he got real money out of Rochester, New York. Definitely on the H-Town tip. Did his time, came home, and living his best life right now. He probably came way after our run, but when he came through the town, he definitely ran the numbers up. One time for Mendices. So I say all that to say Rochester definitely is a town known for getting a whole lot of money. Now, I will say that I was never on a town like that. I maybe pop out 2-3 times a year. Because one thing I always stood on and always followed was the blueprint that my OG Midnight gave me back in the mid-'80s, which was quiet money is the best money. So I always stood on that. So if I did come to the town, I always be put up and be ducked off. Unlike my nigga and everybody else that was down with the crew, they'll be all through the town, fucking all type of hoes and doing all type of this and doing all type of that because, all that was in the contract. But me, I was always gone. If I wasn't fucking off in J-Ville with my homegirl Kabuki, I want to say rest in peace to Kabuki, a.k.a. Sabrina. A real, true Jacksonville legend who was definitely about her bag. One time for my homegirl Hope, who's the roll with Sabrina. If I wasn't in Jacksonville, I definitely was in Brunswick with my cousin them getting to the bag. And if I wasn't in Brunswick, I was fucking off in King Street. Y'all double back and look at my video when I say the Miami Boys and Teddy Pendergrass. Y'all go back and check that out, and so I can tell y'all about that whole King Street situation. But I was always gone. Now, I always told y'all when we got to the town in 1989, when the word spread that the Miami Boys was in town, it was like some big shit. Facts. And a lot of hoes used to, circle through and double back and fuck with us. Now, one particular little chick, I instantly locked in with her because she was solid. And I'm going to always say one thing about Rochester, this city wasn't green at all. I'm going to always give it up to The Rock. The Rock definitely was on that. Especially the hoes who we was fucking with. Them hoes was seasoned. I always tell y'all, you had Queens, you had Brooklyn, you had the Bronx, you had Harlem that was like a couple hours away from Rochester, New York. I don't know nothing about no other city, Syracuse, Buffalo, Albany. I don't know nothing about them, but I know Rochester was definitely on that. So the hoe who I was locked in from day one, me and her was cool because she had just came home from doing her bid. So when we got to the town, I locked in with her. She just came home. Her side nigga just got shipped up the road. And I was just her side nigga because this nigga had like a whole family with kids and all that in Rochester. But they were just fucking with each other on the side. So me and her, we were locked in. That was my dog. But I was always going back and forth in all type of other cities. But when I do double back to Rochester, me and her make up for lost time. Now, I always tell y'all, a nigga definitely was running through a whole lot of holes in the town. I'm going to keep telling y'all that was in the contract. So, a lot of them hoes couldn't really make the starting lineup. They had to sit the bench. Now me, even back then, I can honestly say all the money really clouded a nigga judgment. No matter how in the cut I thought I was, now that I look back at it, It was obvious and plain to see the two niggas who was behind the machine. Everybody know what kind of numbers we was doing. It was right there in their chest. From the west side to the east side. Everybody know what kind of numbers Cocky was doing. Cocky was the main spot that was doing the most numbers. From Norton Street all the way to Avenue C. Niggas couldn't do nothing. If they tried, they were just wasting their time. I'ma always scream, they ain't had what we had, they ain't had the quality that we had, and they ain't had the prices that we had. Straight blicker. And Cocky was doing stupid numbers. Facts. So it was obvious that who the two niggas were behind the machine. Now I will say it was a lot of dreads in the town. The town was mostly Puerto Ricans, niggas, and dreads. Now, I'ma always tell y'all, it really wasn't nothing to do in the town. The Jamaicans, they was always doing throwing dance hall parties and then bringing all type of Jamaican artists to the town. But, you know, us being from the crib, you know, we wasn't on that shit. So in the summer, when the summertime come, we'll get all the little kids in the neighborhood taking a Darien Lake or taking a sea breeze, you know, shit like that. It wasn't a whole lot to do in the town. On the weekends, sometimes we'll go to Water Street, hit a club or two. But for the most part, you know, I was never on the town like that. Now, I will say, whenever we did throw something in the town, Heavy Lace brought the whole city out. I don't care if it was a Miami Dolphin party, a Miami Hurricane party, or a polo party. If we rented out Red Wing, we brought the whole city out. Facts. Now, I'm going to go back to the first hoe who I locked in with when I got to the town.